So first, the backflip scene that was completed using image to video with High Luau 02. At the time when I started the project, that model hadn't been available yet. So by the end of the project, High Luau 02 was released, and I decided why not just incorporate that into the fight scene. So yeah, High Luau 02 is really powerful. It's really good for complex choreography like backflips and athletic jumps and all kinds of fun stuff. Most of the animations in the fight scene, actually most of the animations you see are generated by Vidu 2.0 or Vidu reference to video. So at the time, this was way before Nano Banana and before image models were really good at editing images in a consistent fashion. So you couldn't just generate scenes consistently with consistent backgrounds with like something even with like Sora. It was kind of like hit or miss. So at the time, the best image models, that kind of thing, were actually just to take screenshots of these clips generated in the reference to video workflows. Using reference to video was pretty much a better image generator in a sense. So what I would do is I'd use that, and then I'd take screenshots, and then I'd go image to video. But yeah, basically I only had maybe 3 or 4 reference images, and those were just to create my characters in Vidu that I could just keep referencing them over and over and generating them in different positions. Again, this is before Nano Banana was released, so this was the best way to do this, was using these reference to video models to generate characters in different angles. And then at that point, it was like a lot of the fight animations you really at that time still needed to do lots of creative editing. So you basically are just stitching together clips that look like they could work. So that's why this project took me, I think, over a month. It took me well over a month just to get the fight scene to look good. It didn't take me it took me about a month just like thinking about it, and like, you know, I'd do a little scene here and then I'd go away and think about it again. Yeah, it was a lot of work. Nowadays it's a lot easier with like the newer image to video models, just because they're so intelligent. So that's how I did it. The character references were generated using Midjourney and ChatGPT 4.0 or Sora, whichever you prefer to call it. I only had, I'd say, 3 to 4 consistent references I would use, but I think in total it was maybe 10 images that were generated using ChatGPT or Midjourney just to get the character composition in a general direction and look. And then the scenes would be composed basically using reference to video, as I spoke about earlier. Yeah, so these characters, these are part of my project MIRAI. Characters don't actually even look like this anymore. These are like earlier character designs. To sum it up, these characters were generated with Midjourney and ChatGPT 4.0, but most of the scenes were reference to videos. I use Kling AI's lip sync feature. The way that works is you basically submit a video clip, and in some cases is able to select and detect different characters in the same scene, differentiate between 2 characters in the same scene. I would just mask out the character manually, upload that video clip, and then it would work. There was maybe 1 or 2 times where Kling wasn't able to properly lip sync, and in that situation I would just go over I would have the video model animate the lips. So I just, in my prompt, I'd ask for the character to start talking, and then I would just dub over the top of that with ElevenLabs or my own voice. Project MIRAI is intended to be a mixed language project. Part of it will be in Japanese, part of it will be English, part of it will be in other languages. The idea is just to produce a project or produce a film series that embraces all the languages of the world, or as many as the story calls for, I should say. It'll be mostly in Japanese and English, just because of the cast of characters. The idea is it's a near future where people basically can have AI translate almost any language. People speak the language that they're most comfortable in, and AI acts as the intermediary. I don't speak Japanese fluently. I'm very beginner at Japanese, but I know enough to be able to read some of it. So ChatGPT was really helpful in checking meticulously, making sure that phrases that I was saying in English translated over correctly, not just word for word, but making sure that the context was retained, constantly asking ChatGPT to explain its translation and why it translated things a certain way, and then asking for pronunciation. Most of the time, text-to-speech, TTS, was sufficient for pink-haired character. Her name is Haruko. The voice that I chose for her, it's named Maya. And because at this point, ElevenLabs version 3 had just released, so you could actually input like emotion cues into the prompt so that it would actually voice act the way you're kind of looking for. So that worked for Haruko, the pink-haired character. But for Mirai, the main character, the short-haired character, the other female character, there's a voice I chose early on for her. The name is Natasha, and it's an English voice, but it doesn't have a V3 model, or it doesn't work with V3. So occasionally I would have to go speech to speech, I guess, or voice cloning. I'd have to modify the voice, and the way I would do that is I would actually just ask ChatGPT to voice act it.
Hopefully that sounded menacing enough for Mirai. Sure, here we go. いいわよ。戦いましょう。リアルでね。いいわよ。戦いましょう。リアルでね。
At this point, ChatGPT is really good at like kind of voice direction and voice acting, surprisingly. Yeah, so I would just record those sessions and then I would feed that into ElevenLabs, because I wasn't about to try to voice act Japanese because I barely speak it. And then of course I voice acted the male character. And as you can tell, my voice acting isn't great even in English, so how was I going to do that in Japanese? And sound effects, I used Audio, which is a open source tool that you can use on Hugging Face. I could have downloaded it on my computer, but it's just easier to just go to the website instead of like turning on Python. I just go over to Hugging Face space and just put in my video, and then I'd get the sound effect I'm looking for.